Hey guys, John at Quad Van. Hope everything's going well with you. We're having fun up here, even if it is a little rainy. Hey, I had a customer ask me about how to engage the manual hubs and how to engage the shifter into high and low range. We have a truck here that's going to be shipped off to Germany, so I might as well use this one. It's manual shift, manual hubs. So the hubs are set up with free and lock on them. And these are the factory Ford hubs. They're made by Warn. And in every other event that you're driving down the road, you just leave them in free, in two-wheel drive. So the link between the axle and the hub is disconnected. So the wheel's spinning free and there's no force on the diff. If you want to use your four-wheel drive, but you don't need it right away, but you're anticipating a need for it, you can go ahead and lock the hubs, both sides at the same time. You can drive a prolonged distance. There's no recommended good or bad in it. I wouldn't leave them in there for hundreds and hundreds of miles, but I have customers that leave them in for the whole year. So, you just have to decide. With a manual shift truck and an automatic transmission, we're going to have to do a couple things to make that little transition into low range and back and forth. So let me find the keys for this little truck. So with our front hubs locked in, and we wanted to use four-wheel drive, we could literally be driving down the highway and decide we want four-wheel drive. And with the truck in a mode that's ready to move or driving on the highway, you just pull the shifter back from 2 high to 4 high. This is a Ford factory shift knob. It's the weighted knob. It's really heavy. Stainless steel shaft, Ford boot, on a Ford shifter hooked up to a Ford transfer case. We don't use any of that Chevrolet reverse shift stuff, and nothing that doesn't have a gate in it. So this knob is actually indicated to have a stop, and it does. Hard stop. You cannot overshoot and go into neutral. You can't go into low range. It doesn't shift backwards or anything like that. So you pull it back once, there's 4 high. You could do that at any speed. The van's top speed in America is about 90 miles an hour. On these newer vans, they just kick off. They're fly-by-wire. They're not going to go any faster now. If you want low range, what you're going to do is you're going to have to gate over. So you're going to have to push the shifter over. Ford requires you to go into neutral. The transfer case requires you to go into neutral to take the pressure off of it. So you should take your shifter, put it up in neutral. Take your knob, push it over to the left side, pull the shifter back. In some cases, the shifter may stop because you're up against low range misalignment of the teeth. So the teeth might be out of alignment. All you have to do is keep a little pressure on the shifter. Come up here, put a little touch of pressure on the shift on drive, and it drops right into low range. If you need to go back into, and then you would drive forward and do your articulation, your little maneuver over an obstacle, around something. Now, a kind of a neat feature of having low range is you don't have to have the front hubs locked in, and you have a compound low. So for instance, you need to pull a stump out, or you're pulling a boat out of the water, or some reason you're needing some real good reduction in transmission through the drivetrain. You can just use low range without the front hubs locked in and have a compound low. Now, going back into high gear, you are changing gears again. You're going from a gear that's engaged at one speed up past neutral and then back into another gear. Sometimes it's a straight shot, sometimes you have to use the little neutral drive drop. So what we'll do is we're going to put it in neutral. I'm going to put my hand on the shifter and we're just going to push it through. And it went right through, particularly this one went right straight through. Let's see if we can get it to stop and not go through. So I'll let my foot off, I'll move forward a little bit. Speedometer has picked up speed, and I'm going to show you that. So right now we're in neutral in the transfer case, and the parasitic drag that's in the transmission has accelerated the output shaft of the tranny. So right now the transmission input is spinning, but we're in neutral. So 2 ways to deal with this. You can either shut the engine off, kill that, start the engine back up, and make that shift pretty quickly. As you can hear, sometimes it'll crunch or grunch. You don't want to do that too often. Doesn't really hurt it too bad, just don't do it all the time. And then you're in neutral still and full engagement. if you had it hang up and not want to go into drive, let's see if we can do that again. Of course, it's giving me all these nice, it's shifting great. Give me one more second here. I'm trying to get it to hang up. But of course it wants to shift nice now. There, oh, no. So it won't hang up on me. I was going to explain that you would use the same drive, drop it in gear, just a little tiny gear, just bump it and then make that shift, but it's doing it great. So each person has their own technique, their own strengths, their own abilities to move the transfer case through its range. You know, you're going to have to figure that kind of stuff out, but if you use neutral to a little drive bump every once in a while, it sure makes things transition a lot easier. So you'll just have to figure that out per your situation and temperatures and strengths in your arm. I have a lot more strength than some other people do. I have less strength than some other people do. Women and men and all different kinds of modes in order to make this shift. But that's how it goes. Straightforward, right into high. Now you're in gear, you drive away. If you want four-wheel drive, you pull it back one notch, and you're in four-wheel drive. So you can't accidentally get back into low or neutral. Again, you have to push it way over and pull it way back. And that's Quad Van for you. All Ford parts, easy to replace and maintain. See you guys.